Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about how I like to use a loop pedal in practicing improvisation, specifically jazz improvisation. So I'm going to be using jazz examples to demonstrate this today. I've got my Boss RC20 loop station rigged up and ready to go. You can use any loop pedal for this, most of them are pretty good as long as the playback and loop functions are working. And you got you got a couple minutes of loop time available, you should be good to go. We're not going to be doing anything fancy here. This isn't going to be like a how-to tutorial on how to use a loop pedal. We're just going to be using that primary loop and playback function. We're just going to be clicking a button a few times, so nothing too technical. If you're new to loop pedals, you'll catch on pretty quickly. If you don't have a loop pedal, you can still try these methods out if you have like Garageband or like computer programs that you can record into. Some of those, like Garageband, you can create a loop in the program, and that's great. If you don't have access to a computer, you can use your phone. You can use like voice memos or any type of handheld recorder. Just something that will record and that you can play along with. Now, I mean, I like to use a loop pedal because it's just the most convenient. Right here in the room, it's instant results. It gives me a nice flow when I'm practicing. So, loop pedal is the way to go for me. But you do have other options. Now, there are a couple methods to use here. The first one is pretty self-explanatory. I think it's pretty common. Just recording a chord progression into your loop pedal and soloing over it. That's a great way to start off. You can do anything from as like just a simple vamp, a couple chords, to complex jazz recordings, and it all works. Just as long as your loop is nice and tight. So you want to start and stop right on the downbeat. You don't want any gaps or any extra space in between your loop. So you want to have that nice rhythm. You don't want to drop any beats, and you'll be good to go. So what I did was I took a 12-bar blues and I recorded it into my loop pedal before I started the video, just to save a little bit of time. And I'm going to go ahead and just click that on and take a little solo here, and then we'll talk some more. So again, it's a 12-bar blues. This is in B flat. 12-bar blues in B flat. Here we go. Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could keep going I could let that go all day if I wanted to, and I could expand upon that and, get all kind of ideas out and just let it rip, get my fingers moving. So it's a good way to warm up. And again, I could try out anything that progression's not going anywhere. It's there for me all day, just like a band in the box type thing. So, that's a great way to start off, especially if you're new to loop pedals or jazz. Just figuring out how to use a loop pedal, or kind of just getting your feet wet with some improv. You can record some simple progressions into your loop pedal and practice them that way. It'll be a good start. But for those of you looking to take the next step, we're gonna try something a little bit different here. So the second method of using this loop pedal, which is the way I like to do it most of the time, is that we're actually going to record our solo into the loop pedal and then comp over that. So we're going to record the solo into the loop pedal, stop it, and then we're going to play it back, and then I'm going to play along with that with like chords or a bass line or something. Now, this isn't going to be a loop. This is really a one-time shot. So usually what I like to do is take 3 or 4 choruses, kind of treat it like a real solo on a gig or something like that, So kind of have an arc in mind. And what I'm going to do here, just to start off, is I'm really going to try to focus on the chord changes. I'm going to really try to outline the changes. That's what playing an unaccompanied solo kind of forces you to do, just so you keep the form in your hands and going in your head. So let's give this a shot. Let's see what happens here. So I'm going to clear my loop, and for this one you need to use a metronome. The metronome is the glue that kind of holds it all together. So get this out here, and get my metronome. And actually, I didn't use a metronome for the first way because, like, when I record a backing track into the loop pedal, and I stop it with my foot, I press that loop button. I mean, the metronome is perfect. It's on my phone here. It's an electric metronome, so it's digitally perfect. My foot stomping the loop pedal is not perfect. I'm human. I'm going to have a little bit of human error, so like I might be a nanosecond off, with my loop. And if I try to play the metronome with that backing track, at some point it's going to get out of sync, and it's just going to be a mess. So you can record a metronome. You can use a metronome to record the loop, just so your time is good. But I wouldn't have it on when I'm playing. I'm trusting the loop to be in good time. If you do it in Garageband, if you set that loop, you can have the metronome clicking because it is preset. You're not pressing any buttons or doing it manually. But when you do it freehand, again, just I don't use the metronome when I'm playing the chords. When I'm playing the chords into the or playing along with the chord progression, just because it gets out of sync. But for this method, you have to use one because we're going to have an unaccompanied solo that's kind of free floating, so we need an anchor. And so when I go back to play that solo, I got to start it right on the beat, and I got to make sure I'm following along here. And when I'm comping, it's just like 2 people listening to the same beat. So I got the metronome on 2 and 4, nice and loud. All right, so what I'm going to do is, again, you just have to start it right on the beat, and then you're good to go from there. So this is going to be a 12-bar B-flat blues, and I'm going to record my solo into the loop pedal, and I'm really going to try to outline the changes here, and then we'll see what happens. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2 choruses. All right, let's see how that sounds. So the other thing is, like, I don't have to stop this right on the beat because I'm not looping it. It's a one-shot thing. So it's just like a recording, and I'm gonna play along with it. I'm not gonna be like overdubbing anything. I'm not gonna be, again, looping it over and over again. It's basically just an instant recording, but I think it's very convenient on the loop pedal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to comp for myself, and this is another reason why I like to do it this way, because I can practice my comping, which I think personally for me, I feel like I need a lot of practice comping, and it's tough to do when you don't have anybody to play with. So it's a double whammy. You get to practice soloing, really focusing on the changes, outlining the progression, and I get to practice my comping, and I can kind of analyze, my solo, and hear how it works with the chord progressions, and when I'm comping, I can really, try to be conscientious of the notes I'm choosing so they don't clash with the solo, just like comping in an ensemble or something like that, So just a lot of different angles, coming in here when you record the solo and you go off that. So now to play it back, I'm going to start my metronome, 2 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start this right on 1, and I'm good to go. And then I'm just going to comp from there. So 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, 2 choruses. If you notice, like when my solo went down low, I tried to switch to higher voicings. Then when I noticed myself going up higher, I was trying to go for the more low voicings. So again, it just kind of keeps you sharp, keeps you aware of what you're playing, and again, it's really just a great way to hear. To hear your solo, so you don't just play it and then it's gone. You can actually record it and then hear it again. I just really love doing that. Now, I mean, you could you could overdub. You could like throw a bass line in there, throw some chords, even get like if you're really ambitious, get like a drum, some drum sampling or something, MIDI drums or something, and do it like in Garageband. But I never go that far, unless I really sometimes I really play a killer solo and I record it. I'm like, all right, I want to save that, so I'll just play the bass. I'll just play a comping part, and I'll just play that in a Garageband, and just so I can save the solo. But most of the time, I just play the solo, play some comping, and then I'm done and move on, do it again. So I think this method really came out of playing duos at when I was at Berkeley. We had a couple classes. We had to do a lot of duo work, and I just really love the sound of 2 guitars, or like a guitar and piano, or like bass and saxophone, something like that. I just love that playful interaction. So I'm kind of trying to create that here in this style of practice. It comes pretty close. It's a good feeling. Try to get that little interactiveness. So let's move on to another song here, and I'm going to pick Solar. It's a nice short form, and it's a fun song. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to record a solo into the loop pedal, and then I'll comp over that. Now I'm going to try to, I'll do 2 choruses here. In this solo, I'm going to really try to leave some room for interaction. So I'm going to try to think forward to okay, how do I want to comp this? How do I see myself? How do I see these 2 parts interacting? And let's just see what happens here. So I'm going to bump up the tempo. Two and four. Make sure my loop is clear. All right, here we go. 1, 2, a 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. All right, 3 choruses. So let's see here. Stop the loop. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and comp over that. I don't know how good a job I did of thinking ahead of the interaction, but let's just give it a shot here. So I'm going to try to refrain from doing a bass line or a walking bass line at this point. I'm just going to see if I can get this, comping going here. So here we go. 1, 2, a 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. So there we go. That felt okay, you know. There are a couple things in there that, like, maybe I'll play that again. Maybe if I were to play that again, you know, I'd maybe try to get some of those, like, I think I did some rhythm things, like, maybe I'll try to catch on to that. Or what was that? You know, try kind of follow those lines a little better. But I'm gonna do one more, and this time I'll do 4 choruses, and the first 2 I'll leave some space. Try to build it up. That's the other thing. So when I'm playing these solos, I treat it like I'm on a gig and I'm building a solo. I don't just go ahead and you know, noodle and just go crazy right off the bat. I actually try to have an arc in mind. So in this case, I'm gonna do like 4 or 5 choruses, and the first 2 I'm gonna try to leave some space. I'm gonna try to just leave it a little more open, and then like the last few choruses, I'll just go ahead and bring in the lines. And on the flip side, when I'm comping, I'll kind of try to be a little more free in the first 2 choruses, you know, try to be a little interactive, and then when I hear myself go into the lines, I'll just go into like a walking bass line, and we'll see how that turns out. So let's try this again. Solar. Make sure this other one's cleared. All right. So 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. see how that turned out. All right, so again, a little bit of space in the beginning, kind of interaction, and then towards the end, walking bass line. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, you know, it's just I have fun doing this all day. This is how I like to practice standards. Now, in something like that, you know, in that when you kind of get as loose and crazy as I did there in that solo, and as I'm trying to, you know, be creative with my comping, you got to listen to that metronome. You really have to let it be the glue. Otherwise, if you flip the beat, you know, or you know, skip a beat, which I know I'm guilty of sometimes. Nobody's perfect, but you know, when you do that, you know, it's kind of a bummer. So this is just good practice. It's good discipline, and again, you can be really creative. And again, there's so many different angles to you're working on so many things here. Just tunes, soloing, lines, concepts, you know, comping, you name it. You know, it's really the complete package. And this is why I like to practice improv, jazz improv with this method of the loop pedal. Probably 95% of the time, this is how I practice tunes. I think like bossas, I don't really have a great way of playing those unaccompanied solo guitar. So if I ever play those like at a gig or something, if I'm playing a solo gig, I usually just will loop the progressions and play over them. Or if I just want to really, you know, have some fun with like a simple vamp or something, I'll record a backing track like a loop progression. But when I'm playing jazz tunes and I'm really trying to get inside the changes, this is how I do it. I record the solo into the loop pedal and just go from there. You know, comp, walk bass lines, everything. So that's it for today. I hope you found this video interesting and helpful. If you did, please leave a like on this video and let me know in the comments section. And if there's anything else that you'd like me to go over or do a little lesson on, please let me know. I'm open to a lot of different things, and I'm trying to get some variety on my channel. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for future videos. And thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.